My male 22 GF female 23 engaged in a short-term emotional affair and refused to admit or apologize until after I ended the relationship. Is getting back together foolish? It's been 13 months since I started a committed monogamous relationship with my present girlfriend, and we're still going strong. B. In addition, we work together on initiatives. The whole summer from May to the present has been spent studying for and preparing for a graduation exam, while also working full-time and participating in research projects. Because of my circumstances, spending quality time with my family was more difficult than it had been in the previous years. In part due to B's participation in summer school, both parties have experienced a scarcity of free time. In order to make the most of the circumstance, we've put out every effort. The journey hasn't been easy for either of us though, and I'll be the first to admit that. Our communication began to deteriorate as a consequence of my own stress as a result of my duties, which exacerbated the situation. B has seemed to be understanding of the situation for the most of this time period. After learning about B's flirting, both in person and online, with a single male colleague of ours approximately a week ago, I was astonished and dismayed. H, a member of our campus community, is well known for his proclivity for sleeping around and is generally seen as a creep. As a consequence, this new friendship has caught me completely by surprise. At the same time as I was concentrating on my academics, B and H began to spend more time together in social circumstances outside of the office. After some time has gone, I learned through a coworker that H is openly interested in B. I am shocked and disappointed. B replied by accusing me of being jealous when I inquired about the relationship between us as a consequence. For the most part, she felt I was just jealous of her new coworkers and dismissed my concerns. She characterized him as just such a lovely, understanding guy, with whom she had developed a friendship over the course of many years. In the course of this friendship, there was a lot of communication, which culminated in a business dinner where B was on her phone, texting H from across the table while sitting near me, all while I was seated next to her. When she raised her head after sending him a Snapchat and attempted to hide her phone from me, it made me feel extremely uneasy. I was dissatisfied with my supper and thought that my host had misled me. Due to the fact that B had driven me to dinner, I was unable to leave. My relationship with B came to an abrupt stop immediately after dinner when I said, "This is more than a friendship, this is not the proper fit for me." The fact that B liked two people at the same time perplexed her because she didn't believe it was possible to like two people at the same time, direct quote, albeit in an emotional situation. After a furious dispute in the parking lot, during which both of us were unhappy, she threatened to leave me in the parking lot alone, about an hour from our town. I begged with her to please take me back to my flat, which she eventually agreed to do for me. B returns to my apartment the next day to pick up her items, and we strike up a discussion. In spite of the fact that B is heartbroken about our divorce, he refuses to admit that their friendship with H had developed into an emotional bond. After several hours of conversation, she finally admits that she was mistaken, but says that she never considered it to be an affair until I confronted her, and that it was instead a friendly connection between her and me. She ultimately apologized, barred H from her home, and said that having an affair was never her intention. H's attention was likewise noted as being enjoyable by the woman, who had expressed dissatisfaction with her own attention from me. Before she realized she had changed her mind, we had been talking for many hours, and she had left and returned to my place multiple times before she realized she had. Nothing seems to make sense to me at the moment. This seemed to me to be a warning sign that I shouldn't ignore, but it may also be a misinterpretation for which I could forgive her. The fact that she showed guilt at the last minute doesn't worry me too much. On the other hand, I don't want to allow myself to be walked out on. Update. Following the events mentioned in this essay, I decided to call it quits on my relationship with B after a few days of attempting to make it work. We had just reached a point in our relationship where neither of us was satisfied anymore. It's taken a great weight off my shoulders, and I'm really looking forward to getting out of bed in the mornings now. If you're in a troubled relationship, I would advise you to be open and honest with your spouse about your feelings. If terminating the relationship is the only choice, just know that things will get better. There are a plethora of other individuals in the world who will treat you decently, and it is possible that one of them is not your present romantic partner. It's quite okay to go through a breakup. Don't settle for a relationship that is just average. It's unjust to you and your spouse in this situation. If you've arrived to this page as a result of someone attempting to expose me, please feel free to read my other pieces, share them on social media, or just leave a comment. I'd also recommend that you read the comments left by the exposer on my postings. However, you should be aware that you are merely exposing B in this case, and that he does not deserve to be exposed in this manner. In the event that you post a remark in good faith, I will make every effort to answer. Story 2. Wife lied and cheated over our entire relationship. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm a writer, 32. I discovered a few months ago that my wife, 30, with whom I've been married for 4 years and with whom I've been involved for 9, had been having an ongoing affair with a man before we had our first kid too and after. This was terrible, and I decided to have a paternity test done, which revealed that the kid is, in fact, my. I still loved her, and she shown such genuine sorrow that we were able to make it through therapy. We were more open and honest, and things were beginning to mend and trust was slowly re-establishing itself. It was also about this time that we discovered she was pregnant, and she claims it is 100% hers. But, well, you get the picture. Let's fast forward to the previous week. Something comes up, and I find out about another instance of her cheating on me earlier in our relationship, before we were engaged, but while we were still living in the same house, moved in after first year of dating. This tears my heart since we had, at least, I believed we had, been entirely honest with one another about everything. And, so to be clear, I have been completely dependable throughout the whole process. It was only after I called her out on lying about it and demanded that she give me the whole truth about everything that the floodgates flowed. It turns out she's been with a total of 7 different men over this time period, 2 of whom were her ex-boyfriends, others who she previously described as excellent pals, and so on. Before we got engaged, after we were engaged, and after we got married. Throughout the whole process. Looking back, there were definitely warning signs, but I chose to ignore them out of naive faith and the mistaken belief that I was projecting onto her out of insecurity or whatever. And that's only the beginning of what she stated, there might be more. I'm torn between the 2 options. If there were no children involved, she'd be sleeping on the streets right now. But she's a terrific mother, and I can't bear the thought of abandoning my unborn kid. I still have feelings for her in certain ways, but my emotions are all over the place right now. I'm embarrassed and ashamed, and I don't know what to do. She's plainly distraught, and she's already contacted a therapist on her own. Her words are that she's sorry, and that she wants this to work, and she says all the right things, but I can't put my faith in her after we went through therapy for the first time, and she lied about everything during the process. Like a fucking fuck. I'm at a loss on what to do.